Hello students, how are you? I hope you are fine. In today's session we are going to discuss about the another type of connective tissue. Okay, in previous session we have discussed about the loose connective tissue, in which we have also seen the areolar connective tissue and the adipose connective tissue, right? Now today we are going to discuss about the dense connective tissue, which is another classification of the connective tissue. So let's give the heading dense connective tissue and let's see what is included under dense connective tissue. That is the second thing. Dense connective tissue. So what is meant by dense connective tissue over here? See, dense connective tissue generally consists of the fibrous cells. Okay, the main fiber cells like the collagen and the elastin fiber, right? So what the dense connective tissue is also referred as the fibrous connective tissue. Okay, you can also write dense connective tissue or fibrous connective tissue. Fibrous connective tissue. Okay. Now the fibers which are present within this tissue, okay, that is within the dense connective or the fibrous connective tissue, these fibers they are arranged very compactly or they are packed very compactly. Okay, so what they are named as the dense connective tissue. Okay, so we can write here the fibers, okay, are compactly packed, so it is known as, okay, and compactly packed and become dense actually. Okay, compactly packed and become dense. So they are called as the dense connective tissue. Now next, this connective tissue are also known as fibrous connective tissue. Fibrous connective tissue as the cells okay, under their matrix, the cells under their matrix are formed by the elastin. What is elastin? Elastin is a yellow fiber. Okay, so in bracket you can write yellow fiber and collagen, which is also referred as a white fiber. Okay, white fiber. So here the connective tissue are also known as fibrous connective tissue as the cells, okay, under their matrix, because they form a matrix, right? So cells which are present under their matrix are formed by two types of components, that is elastin, which is also referred as a yellow fiber, and collagen, which is also referred as a white fiber. Okay, so this is the composition of the dense connective tissue. Now, the dense connective tissue, okay, on the basis of arrangement of fibers within them, can be categorized into two main categories. Which are those? That is, we can write the dense regular connective tissue and dense irregular connective tissue. Now, when we talk of the dense regular connective tissue, okay, so see here, we can write types of dense connective tissue. Okay, types of dense connective tissue. Now, here, on the basis of you can write shape or arrangement of fibers. Okay, arrangement of fibers. Which fibers? Elastin fiber and the collagen fibers. Okay, arrangement of fibers within connective tissue. Within connective tissue, the dense connective tissue can be categorized into two types. Okay, it can be of two types. Number one, dense regular connective tissue, and second one, dense irregular connective tissue. Okay, so here we will be discussing few examples under dense regular connective tissue and dense irregular connective tissue. So basically, what is meant by dense regular connective tissue and what is dense irregular connective tissue? Okay, so first we will see what is dense regular connective tissue. Okay, so first one, that is dense regular connective tissue. Okay, so what is dense regular connective tissue? Here, the dense regular connective tissue is further divided into two types. Okay, that is on the basis of type of fiber. Okay, so it is consisting of two types, that is on the basis of type of fiber present in it. So you can write on the basis of type of fiber. Okay, so it can be of two types. Which are those? First one, it is the white fiber. First one is the white fiber. Okay, and second one is the yellow fiber. Okay, when we talk of the white fiber, okay, we are talking about the collagen. So it consists of collagen. Okay, now what type of fiber collagen is? Okay, collagen is the tough, okay, or you can also refer it as dense type of fiber. Okay, and which is generally found in the bundles. So what it is? Dense. And while when we talk of the yellow fiber, that is it consists of we'll write later about yellow fiber. here white fiber, it consists of collagen. Okay, and collagen is tough, okay, tough, and it provides the strength. Okay, it is tough, found in bundles, okay. Then it consists of and has fibroblast, okay, in the or inside the bundle of collagen, okay, and has the fibroblast inside the bundle of collagen, okay. And these fibroblasts, they are like, as we have discussed, these are also consisting of these are the component of the collagen and elastin fibers, okay. So they are the component basically. The next, what is the function of collagen? Okay, so collagen, generally they form the parts, or they form the structures like tendons. Okay, so here in white fiber we will be discussing the example of tendon. Okay, so what is tendon basically? So we will write here. Later we will see second part. So tendon. Okay, what is tendon basically? Tendon is it is tough, okay, tough, comma, dense, tough, comma, dense, and has great strength, and has great strength. Okay, so tendons are the structures which are tough, they are dense, and has great strength. The next, they joins muscles. They join muscles to the bones. Okay, they join muscles to the bones. The next, and hence helps in contraction and relaxation. Okay, so what is the tendon? Tendons are the structure which are tough, they are dense, okay, they are generally composed of a collagen type of protein, okay, or collagen type of fiber, because collagen is a fibrous protein. So they are tough, dense, and has great strength. They join the muscles with the bones. Okay, so whenever we are doing any kind of muscular activity, like we are moving our hands, okay, we are walking or we are running, at that time the bones will be moved, okay, within the body, and they are moved with the help of the certain structures. Okay, which structures? Like muscles are there, but the joining between muscle and the bone is with the help of tendons. Okay, so they are the intermediate structures which are responsible for showing the contraction and relaxation, and they also provide the muscular strength, okay, or the strength to the muscles. So that is the basic function of the tendons. Okay, now these tendons, okay, they are in the form of collagen fibers, and they are in bundles. They are formed in the bundles. Okay, the next, tendons, they also have the fibroblast. Okay, they also consist of the fibroblast. Okay, so this is about the tendons. Now next, let's see about the another example in the yellow fiber. What is yellow fiber? And we can see an example in the yellow fiber. You can pause the video and note down the points. Okay. Now let's see another example. I'll rub this part. So next, in this is the second one, that is the yellow fiber. Yellow fiber. Okay. So what is yellow fiber? Okay. Or yellow fiber can also be referred as the elastic. Elastic. Or you can also call yellow fibrous connective tissue, okay, like white fibrous connective tissue. Here, yellow fibrous connective tissue, it is composed of the elastin, that is the elastic type of protein, okay. And the example that we are going to study in this is the ligaments. Ligaments. Okay. So what are ligaments basically? Okay. It is dense. It is dense, yellow, fibrous connective tissue. Yellow fibrous connective tissue. The next, it has considerable stem. It has considerable strength. With considerable strength and elasticity. Okay. Then another point, it joins bones to bones. Okay. And hence allows rotations, bending of joints. Okay. So here in the dense regular connective tissue, another type of fiber or the another type of fibrous connective tissue is the yellow fibrous connective tissue, which is also referred as which is consisting of a component called elastin. And here we are studying an example under this yellow fiber or yellow fibrous connective tissue is the ligaments. So ligaments are generally dense yellow fibrous connective tissue. Okay, it has considerable strength and elasticity. So basically they are elastic in nature. Now, what is the basic function of these ligaments? They join the bones to bones. Okay, and allows rotation, bending of joints. Rotation and bending of joints. Now here, see, when we talk of the bone, generally the bones are like this. Okay, such structures can be seen. Suppose this is the structure of a bone. Okay. So, from this bone to bone there is an attachment, and this attachment is with the help of ligaments. And if this bone suppose it has to move, okay, so it will be attached with some muscles. Okay, there will be attachment of the muscles to this bone, but these muscles they are attached with the help of highly or a bundle structure of white fibers, that is collagen, and the structure which is formed by these white fibers will be called as the tendons. Okay, what these tendons do? They help in the movement. Suppose the movement is in the backward direction like this, okay, or in the front direction. That movement will be regulated with the help of certain muscles called skeletal muscles, and those muscles are joined with the bone with the help of tendons. Okay, so what this is about the dense connective tissue, which is also referred as the fibrous connective tissue. Okay, I hope you have understood this concept. If you have any kind of difficulty, you can ask me. Now, apart from dense regular connective tissue, we also have the dense irregular connective tissue. Now, what is about the dense irregular connective tissue? So, dense irregular connective tissue is mostly consisting of the fibroblast, okay, and collagen and elastin fibers, right? And it is found under the skin, okay. So, it is found under the skin. It is dispersed throughout the body. So, that is about the dense irregular connective tissue, okay. So, here what you have to remember is, when we talk of the dense connective tissue, it is consisting of the two types of fibers, that is elastin fiber and yellow fiber. This elastin fiber, what it forms, and yellow fiber, what it forms. White fiber, what it forms, and yellow fiber, what it forms. So, white fiber, it forms or it is consisting of the collagen, okay, and it forms the tendons. While yellow fiber or the elastin, okay, it forms the what we say? Yes, it forms the elastin, and the example that we study in this is the ligaments. Okay, what is the function of tendons? It helps in the movement. Okay, it helps in the movement and join muscles to the bones. While the elastin or the yellow fibers, they join bones to bone with the help of ligaments. Okay. So this is about dense connective tissue. The next we will be discussing about the specialized connective tissue. Okay, you can pause the video and note down the points. Let's talk of this another one, that is the third category under connective tissue is the specialized connective tissue. Specialized connective tissue. Okay. Now, why it is called specialized connective tissue? Because, okay, it is of two types. Okay, it consists of two types of connective tissue, of which one of the connective tissue doesn't have the fibrous cells or the fiber cells. As in the very beginning of this connective tissue, we have talked about it that connective tissue, they consist of the fibrous cells or the fiber cells. Okay, or fiber secreting cells. That is of two types of fiber, collagen and elastin, except the blood. Okay, and here in the specialized connective tissue we have two types of specialized connective tissue. One which is called as the vascular connective tissue, and another one which is called as the skeleton connective tissue. Okay, so let's write. It is of two types. It is of two types. Okay, that is number one, the vascular connective tissue. Vascular connective tissue. Okay, or it can also be referred as the blood vascular connective tissue. Okay, or fluid connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue. Okay, so vascular connective tissue or the fluid connective tissue. Then second, that is skeletal connective tissue. Okay, skeletal connective tissue. Okay, another one is the skeletal connective tissue. So this is about the two types. Now first that we are going to discuss is the vascular connective tissue or the fluid connective tissue. Okay, now what it consists of and what are the components of that fluid connective tissue. Let's discuss about it. Okay, so let's draw an outline so that we can understand. Okay, and we'll discuss about the various different points with respect to that particular components. Okay, so I'll grab this and we'll write out the first one, that is the vascular connective tissue. Okay, so first vascular connective tissue. Okay, first one is the vascular connective tissue. Now, why it is called vascular connective tissue? Vascular means throughout the body. Okay, whatever tissue it is present in this vascular connective tissue, it is located in throughout the body. So what it is called? Vascular. Okay, and such a type of tissue can be the blood or lymph. Okay, so blood and lymph both are the vascular connective tissue, because when we define the blood, what is blood? Blood is highly vascular connective tissue of the body. Okay, so that is the vascular connective tissue. Let's write the points. It is also known as fluid connective tissue. Okay, because the nature of the blood is fluid. Okay, or it is a liquid form. So what it is called? Fluid connective tissue. The next, it consists of two types. It consists of two types. Okay, two types. That is when we talk of the two different types, it consists of, that is blood and lymph. Okay, so when we try to classify the vascular connective tissue, it can be broadly classified into the blood, okay, and another part is the lymph. Okay, so these are the two different parts, two main parts of the vascular connective tissue. Now let's talk of the blood. What is blood? Okay, see, blood is highly vascular connective tissue, with that we know that. Okay, but how this blood is formed within the body? See, within the body there is a bone, or there is a part called bone marrow, which is located in the thigh, right? And this bone marrow, it has a cavity. Okay, that cavity is referred as a lacunae, and within this cavity there will be regulation of a process called erythropoiesis or hematopoiesis. Okay, so there is a process called hematopoiesis through which the hematocytes are produced. Hematocytes means the blood cells. Okay, and there will be again production of the stem cells along with it. So So these hematocytes, okay, they are differentiated depending upon the type of hematocyte. That is whether it can be the erythrocyte, it can be the leukocyte, or it can be the platelet. Okay, so blood can be categorized into 3 different categories. Okay, that is erythrocytes, leukocytes, and the what we say platelets. Okay, when we talk about the erythrocytes, these erythrocytes, they are also referred as the red blood cells or the red blood corpuscles, and leukocytes, they are also called as the white blood cells or the white blood corpuscles, and platelets, they are also referred as the thrombocytes. Okay, now the erythrocytes, the process of formation of erythrocytes is referred as the erythropoiesis. Okay, and it is formed within the bone marrow itself. Now erythrocytes, they also consist of 2 main components, that is plasma and formed elements. Now plasma, it is yellow colored or straw colored liquid part of the blood, okay, which contributes around 55% of total blood. The next, formed elements, it consists of the water, inorganic salts, okay, minerals, okay, so proteins, okay, all these components are present in the formed elements, okay, and they consist of the erythrocytes and all. Okay, so this is about the composition of blood. Now let's see in detail about the composition of blood. Okay, so blood basically it consists of 2 main parts. That is the plasma, okay, and second one is the formed elements. Okay, now the plasma, okay, which is approximately 55% of total blood. Plasma is the 55% of total blood, and it is the yellow colored part. You can write yellow colored part. Okay, it is a yellow colored part present in the blood. Okay, which is approximately 55% of total blood, and it is further classified, or it is further divided into following parts. That is, it consists of 90% of water. Okay, then 1 to 2% of proteins, then 0.8% of inorganic salts, okay. Then some part of the organic salts, okay. This can be included under minerals. Now this is a composition of the plasma, that is 55% of total blood consists of the plasma, and that within that 55%, 90% it is consisting of the water, 1 to 2% are the protein. And what are those proteins? The proteins can be of 3 different types, that is fibrinogen, then albumin and globulin. Now fibrinogen, it is associated, okay, you can write below here within the protein. Fibrinogen, which is associated with the clotting of the blood. Okay, so it consists of certain clotting factors. So whenever there is any kind of injury, okay, to the blood vessels, through that blood vessel there will be continued flow of blood if the fibrinogen are absent. But if the fibrinogen are present, they will clot the flow of blood. Okay, then albumin, another type of protein which is responsible for maintaining the osmosis or the osmotic balance of the body. Okay, so It is associated with maintenance of the salt and water balance. Then another type, that is the globulin, another type of protein which is associated with the defense mechanism of the body. That means it provides the immunity to the living organism of the body. Okay. The next formed elements, which contributes around 45%, okay, of total blood. Now, what will be present in the formed elements? In formed elements, we can see the presence of RBCs. RBCs are also called as the red blood corpuscles or the red blood cells. They are also referred as erythrocytes. Okay, that is the red blood cells or the erythrocytes. Then we have WBC. WBC, that is the white blood cells or the white blood corpuscles, or they are also called as the leukocytes. Then we have third one, that is platelets. Platelets, or they are also referred as the thrombocytes. Okay. Now, RBCs in normal human being, okay, may vary. That is, they may vary from 4.5 to 5.5 million per millimeter or per cubic millimeter. Okay. So they are 4.5 to 5.5 millions per cubic millimeter. Okay, in an individual. So this is the number of RBCs they are present within the human body. Okay. The next, WBCs. One more thing, the RBCs consist of the red pigment, that is called hemoglobin. Okay. And this red pigment hemoglobin has affinity towards the oxygen as well as the carbon dioxide. So what, the blood carries oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. The pH of the blood is generally 7.2 to 7.4, that is slightly alkaline. Okay. And red color is due to the presence of hemoglobin. The next, apart from that, the red blood cells, okay, or the erythrocytes, they are enucleated. Okay. They are enucleated, that means they don't have the nucleus. So what, the central part, it is having certain depression. Okay. Then next, the lifespan of the RBCs is around the 120 days. What happens after 120 days? After 120 days, these RBCs, they are deposited within the graveyard. Now, which is the graveyard of RBC? That is the spleen. Okay. So they are deposited within the spleen. Okay. So that is about the RBCs. And what is the main function? It acts as a transport system, okay, and carries various important minerals, nutrients to the various different part of the body, as well as help in the transport of gases. Okay, so that is the basic function of the RBCs. The next is the WBCs. Okay, what are WBCs? WBCs are also called as the white blood cells or the leukocytes. They are also referred as the soldier cells of the body. Now, why they are called soldier cells of the body? Because WBC play a very, very important role in providing the immunity, okay, or in providing the defense mechanism to fight against the pathogens, okay, generally called rog pratikar shakti. Okay. Now here, these WBCs, they are around, okay, they are around 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter. Okay, per cubic millimeter. So this is the number of WBC in a adult individual or a healthy human being. Okay, this will be the number of WBC. The next, WBC, they are further categorized, okay, into 3 different types. Okay, what are those? Or they are basically categorized into 2 main types. That is, we'll write here. Okay, so I'll write here. In WBC, they are categorized into 2 main types. That is the one is called granulocytes. Okay, one is called granulocytes, Okay, and another one is called agranulocytes. Now, what are granulocytes? See, granulocytes are the type of cells which consist of granules. Okay, so they consist of granules. What are these granules? These granules can be of three types. Okay, these granules can be of three types. One, which is called basophils. Basophils. Second is eosinophils. Okay, eosinophils. And third one is about the neutrophils. Okay, the amount of eosinophil are 0.5 to 1%. Okay, of total blood. Then eosinophils are they can be in the less amount. Then neutrophils are 65 to or 60 to 65%. 60 to 65%. That will be the number of neutrophils. Neutrophils, they are also referred as the natural killer cells. They provide the immunity. They fight against the pathogens or the disease-causing agents. Okay. The next, agranulocytes. Agranulocytes can be of two types. Okay, that is monocytes and lymphocytes. Now, monocytes, okay, they are responsible for releasing the macrophages. See, we have studied in the areolar connective tissue. They consist of macrophages. These macrophages are formed by the monocytes, and lymphocytes, they produce the antibodies within the living body. Okay, what are antibodies? Antibodies are the proteinaceous substances which are released, okay, on an infection. So whenever in our body any kind of infection takes place, that is by a viral infection will be there, or bacterial infection will be there, or fungal infection, or even the fever, common cold, anything. Okay, any kind of disturbance or any kind of disease when it takes place within the body, at that time lymphocytes are produced, and these lymphocytes, they produce antibodies. Okay, what are those? Like they consist of the T lymphocyte or the T cells and B cells. Okay, now what is T and B? See, T means thymus and B means bone marrow, because all these cells basically they are produced from the bone marrow. Okay, they are formed from the bone marrow. Okay, these vascular connective tissues formed by the bone marrow, and when such lymphocytes they are produced, they are responsible for production of T cells and B cells. Okay, now these cells they are produced from the bone marrow, but they mature at a special gland called thymus, which is present at the between the ribs at the sternum position. Okay, so due to their maturation within the thymus, they are called T cells, and this type of cells, that B cells, they get mature within the bone marrow itself. So what the name is given? B cells. B for bone marrow and T for thymus. Okay, and they play a great role in providing the defense mechanism to body. Okay, we will discuss about this part when we will discuss the health and disease. Okay, in the class 12, and we will discuss about basophil, eosinophil, neutrophil, and other parts of the blood. Okay, when we will discuss about the blood or the body fluid and circulation chapter. Okay, so this is about the composition of the WBC. Then finally another composition within the formed element is of the platelets. Okay, so platelets, the third part in the formed element, platelets. Okay, these are also called thrombocytes. The number of thrombocytes within a healthy individual will be from 1.5 lakh to 3.5 or can be of around 4.5 lakh. Okay. So that is the normal platelet count of a healthy individual. Okay. So this is about the platelets, and platelets, they are also responsible for formation of the clotting. Okay. They are mainly composed of fibrinogen, okay, and the clotting factors. Now, apart from this, we have another component of the vascular connective tissue, that is called the lymph. Okay. So lymph, it is colorless fluid, okay, and this colorless fluid, it is circulating throughout the body and is responsible for maintaining the osmotic balance and also help in the transport of minerals, okay, utilization of minerals during the process of excretion and osmoregulation. Okay, so it is the about the vascular connective tissue. Okay, if you have any kind of difficulty in understanding any of these points, you can WhatsApp me, okay, or you can ask in the doubt session. And this is about the vascular connective tissue. In the next part, we are going to discuss about the skeletal connective